Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Faithful One. I'm back doing another episode, and this episode is called God is Not a Respecter of Person. It's in Acts chapter 10, verse 34. It says, Then Peter opened his mouth and said, Of a truth, I persuade that God is no respecter of persons. What does this mean? God doesn't show favoritism, or he doesn't look the outside of what people look like what most people look for. But God looks into your heart. When I think about this topic, I think about the Apostle Paul, honestly. If you don't know about the Apostle Paul was, the story of the Apostle Paul is in Acts 9, which is another chapter behind 10. It talks about Paul was persecuting Christians because, and on his way to Damascus, which is a city that is still around today, to arrest Christians, to bring back to Jerusalem. On the road to Damascus, Saul, which was Paul before Jesus, but Saul met Jesus. In verse 4, verse 6, it talks about the conversation that Saul had with Jesus. It says, And he fell to the earth and heard a voice say unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecute thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus, whom persecute. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Okay. And he trembled and astonished, said, Lord, what thou wants have me to do? And the Lord said unto him, Arise and go into the city, and it shall be told unto what thou must do. So, Saul, was blinded at the end of verse 7 that we didn't read. And if you keep on reading, there's another disciple called Ananias. He heard about what Paul was doing to Christians in Jerusalem, and the Lord told Ananias that not Paul yet. Saul had a vision of Ananias putting his hands on him, and he will receive his sight back. But Ananias wasn't stupid. He was like, Lord, he has done many evil against your followers. And then I love verse 15. These are red letters. It says, But the Lord say unto him, Go thou away, For he is my chosen vessel unto me to bring my name to the Gentiles. The word I love the chosen. I might do a series on that too. Man, I love the name. I mean, the way that he says it, a chosen vessel for him. But if you read with throughout Acts 9, you see a life. You see Saul's life change. Another great example was salvation. Salvation was offered to the whole world, not just the Jews. The Gentiles, and the Jews. The Gentiles, which is me and whoever is not Jewish. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, and whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." It didn't say that God loved the Jews. Yes, the Jews was God's chosen people to fulfill the promise of a Savior. But he said, for God so loved the world. And the last I checked, the world is all of us. Think about when God called Samuel. Samuel was a child when God called him. And think about when God anointed David as the new king of Israel. He was a child also but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Faithful One. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.